So a game I'm really hyped for this year, which is Star Wars Galactic Racer, now has a release date, and it is the end of this year it's coming out, which is the 6th of October 2026. And the more I see of this game, the more hyped I am, because like many of you out there, there's probably a little hole in your gaming life which Wipeout has left. We've not had a new Wipeout game in forever. This looks like it could scratch that itch, and being that a lot of this looks like it's pod racing and stuff like that, I grew up when The Phantom Menace, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, was released at the cinema. It's the only movie ever I've went to see twice at the cinema. So as soon as I saw this with pod racing, I thought, yes, sign me up. But there is some more interesting details which have came to light about this game. And one is that they've described this as a runs-based Star Wars racing adventure, which definitely makes it feel like there's something we don't know yet that has not been revealed about the gameplay. I'm wondering if this is going for a kind of roguelite or roguelike mechanic here, you know, upgrading your spaceship and stuff, going for more runs and races, then back to the start again. Who knows? I think the new Carmageddon game was doing something similar, so this could be a cool take on this. It might not just be a straight up arcade racer. Either way, it looks awesome. There's 12-player multiplayer racing, which you know is going to be absolute chaos. I do hope, though, there's weapons in this. Let me know what you all thought about back in the day Wipeout. There was versions of Wipeout with weapons, and you know there was then ones which didn't have weapons. I always preferred a Wipeout race where you picked up, you know, weapon perks, driving about the track, and you could use them on your opponents. I really hope they do something like that in this game. I know that might not be lore accurate. I'm not a big Star Wars buff, so I might be wrong. But when I think back to Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, there wasn't really weapons between the pod racers. I think Sebulba threw like a spanner or a wrench, and it went into another one of the pod racers' engines, and it blew up, and it was spectacular, the big crash. I hope we get big spectacular crashes like that in this game as well. But weapons in this would be a really nice addition. So Star Wars Galactic Racer, obviously you'll be able to pick up this physically and digitally. There's also a there's a deluxe edition, which is £54 or 80 US dollars or 80 euros. And then there's actually a collector's edition if you're big into your Star Wars and want this, and it's £140 or 160. I've actually got a little image of it right here. I'll put on screen, and check this out. You get an actual land speeder model. To be fair, it looks kind of bland. They could have put a bit of a splash of colour on this, like, you know, a yellow one, like you can see here. This looks like a kind of like the Naboo fighters from Episode 1. Maybe that's what they're meant to look like. But a bit of colour would be a bit better here for this, I think. But if you're a diehard Star Wars fan, you're going to love this one. And your wallet is not going to, as it will cost you a lot of money. So when this drops on the 6th of October, are you excited to dive in for your first pod race on PlayStation 5? You better believe I am.